Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United versus Granada Europa League quarter-final second leg preview, as well as your latest Manchester United news, which is going to encompass an update on Jadon Sancho, a little bit about Varane. We'll also be talking about Eric Bailly's future. And also, one question I do want to get into this show today is, would you rather be in the situation we are under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, or would you rather still have Jose Mourinho in charge? Or more importantly, are we in a better position now than we were 3 years ago when we were second and had won a couple of trophies under Mourinho? So we'll be talking about that in a moment. But I hope you're all doing very, very well. Big thumbs up for the trim. I tell you what, I feel like a new man. First one this year. It's in April and it's the first proper haircut I've had this year, so very, very happy with that. But let's get into it. Let's first of all talk about the team and the game. Solskjaer does face a bit of a selection dilemma against Granada. They won at the weekend. They beat Valladolid 2-1, but I think Valladolid are like fourth from bottom in crappy La Liga, as I call it, because it's not a very good league, and Valladolid are not a very good side. So I don't think that Granada pose... John Moss is the ref for the Burnley game. Great. I ain't worried about Burnley. This Burnley stuff needs to stop. I ain't worried about, I've got Chris Wood and I've got Jonathan Moss and I've got Tarkowski. We're going to beat you, Ollie. I'm not worried about Burnley. I think the win against Spurs basically hands us second place. Screw Burnley. Let's focus on the Europa League a little bit, and it would take a real flop bottling of Arsenal level to not get second place now. So screw Burnley. I'm not even scared about Burnley. But what I am focused on is this Granada quarter-final. Semi-final will be... I don't know when the semi-finals are, but they're very, very big game for us. I like your shirt, Mark. It's Kenneth Hoagland. This is a nice shirt, actually. You're right. I'll tell you where I got it in a minute. But Granada will come and have a go. If they get an early goal, they've got an away goal, they get a second goal, it can happen. 2-0 can be quite dangerous. Solskjaer will not go into this game to make many changes. That's the predicted lineup I've put up on there. Obviously, De Gea will come in and goal because we're sharing that role out now, which is absolutely fine. Eric Bailly's back in England, so you presume Eric Bailly will play next to Lindelof because Harry Maguire is suspended. I would have liked to have seen Twansebi, as Cruz says, but apparently Eric Bailly will be available, and as we know with Ollie, he will go with Bailly, he will not play Twansebi. Telles comes in at left-back because Luke Shaw's also suspended, and we know he'll pick Wan-Bissaka. Into the midfield, there is no Scott McTominay, so I would pull Paul Pogba into the midfield to play next to Fred. He could play Matic, I think that's dangerous. He could even play Van der Beek in there, but we know that won't happen, and I would love to see that happen. Bruno will be captain, so Bruno will play. Rashford, maybe... I don't know with Rashford. I've put him in there because he will play Rashford, but I don't know what the fitness levels are of Rashford are. I mean, to be fair to Ollie, it's not really a game to start saying, let's rest Rashford and Bruno. It's a quarter-final in the Europa League, and if they were to get an early goal, if we were to play a little bit like we did in the away leg or against Brighton... it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they could score first, and then you're in a nervous position. So I'd rather start with the better team and bring people on. I think Mason Greenwood needs to start, so I think he'll put him off the right, and I think he'll start Cavani as well. So I don't really see massive changes. I mean, there's no Telles, there's no Maguire, and there's no McTominay, but really that should be absorbed quite easily by Bailly, Telles, and obviously pulling Pogba into the midfield, which is where I think he is at his best. Now, Brian says Pogba's on a yellow card, but he's not suspended. He's got one yellow card. He's not suspended for this game. So I wouldn't worry about that, because at the end of the day, if you're saying don't play Pogba in this game, it's pointless because he might miss the first leg of the semi-final. Keep him for the semi-final, he might miss the second leg of the semi-final, he might miss the final. So it's just one of those. You've got to bring Paul Pogba into this. Now, some people are actually saying that Paul Pogba's suspended. I did not realise that. Am I being naive here? I don't think Pogba is suspended. There's been no deal made of that at all. I've not heard that at all, and I certainly didn't notice it in the last game. Paul Pogba's not suspended. It's McTominay and Maguire and Luke Shaw. He's good. So he's on one yellow card. So that's as I thought. So I mean, look, I wouldn't not play Pogba because he's on a yellow card, because if I'm Paul Pogba, I'd rather get that yellow card out of the way and get the suspension done. So I wouldn't worry too much about Paul Pogba on that. I'd expect us to win. I think it's a dangerous game to approach, definitely. Granada will have a go. But we have got to. I mean, it's a cliche, isn't it? We can't just play boring football, but I think we probably will play quite pragmatically like we did in the first leg and look to hit them on the break because they've got to attack us. And ultimately, would you really complain about that? There's no fans in the ground, so he doesn't need to worry about 75,000 fans moaning about poor football. At the end of the day, we've done the job away from home. We're comfortable, and we just hit them off. So I think that United will cruise through this game. I really do. Santa Cruz. I think it will be easy. I think it will be probably a standard 2-0 win for Man United. Get into the semi-final. Happy days. Looking forward to it. I mean, the reason I'm looking forward to this game is because it gets us into the semi-final of the Europa League, which is all we could have. That's what we got last year. But on top of that, I think Granada will come and have a go. They've got to come and have a go, and I think that opens the game up a little bit more. They were obviously quite tentative in the first game, but they still looked to attack us a bit, and I think it'll be an interesting game. Will we see a diamond with Donny as well? No, Rashi, says Sachin. Well, not. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to change his formation, and it's one of the positives I've said about Solskjaer over the last few months is that he has really settled in on the 4-2-3-1 situation. Do you think Van der Beek could start, says Cruz? And Neil says, start Donny, please. I mean, there's an opportunity to play Donny van der Beek and rest Paul Pogba and play Donny van der Beek next to Fred. There is an opportunity to do that. I mean, look, I cannot say anything more about Donny van der Beek other than it's absolutely baffling, stunning, and every other word that is shock. I'm shocked at how little he's played, and he really should start this game, but he won't. I can't see it happening. If he does start, I'd like to see him start where Pogba is. I don't want to see Donny van der Beek dropped. I don't want to see Bruno out the team to play Van der Beek. I mean, he might do that, but that's too risky. You don't want to lose. Harry Maguire is a leader, and Bruno Fernandes is a leader. You don't want to be without two leaders on the pitch. So, and there's another good point there from Mumby. He says, "What about Diallo again?" I mean, look, Diallo is. Look, I don't want to bring any negativity in because we're second in the league. We played really well on Sunday. We're going to talk about some transfer stuff in a minute. There's a bit of positivity around the team. Pogba is a leader, but we're already missing a leader in Maguire. You don't want to take him out of the team as well, Bruno. You can't leave it all on Pogba. That's not fair. So you want Pogba and Bruno on the pitch, definitely. But look, why is Diallo not playing? Why is Van der Beek not playing? Diallo cost 35 million and has played Champions League and Serie A football and is being treated like he's from the youth setup. I mean, Diallo should be playing. Diallo scored a very important goal for us in the last round against AC Milan. I don't know why Diallo's not getting game time. I don't know why Van der Beek's not getting game time. I don't know why Twansebi's not getting game time. To me, it's a frustration, but ultimately you've got to balance that with the fact of where we are in the league, and you can't really criticise Ollie at the moment. You can, and you should always criticise, to be fair. The best time to improve is when you're winning. Sir Alex Ferguson always said that. The best time to be critical is when you're winning, because you're already at a high level and you're trying to go to a higher level. The easiest time to criticise is when you're losing. Confidence is on the ground and everyone's moaning. So, there is constructive criticism is good when you're winning, but I don't know. I don't expect to see Diallo or Van der Beek play. I don't know why they're not getting picked. I mean, these are not young youth players. These are players that are meant to be part of our future that have cost a lot of money. So you'd want to get them part of that. I love the trim, Mark. Look like you're young enough to beat Dan James in a race. Thanks, Harrison Dunn. I feel like I'm in my 20s again. And do you think we will win the Europa League? Says TJX7. I said my 20s, not the 1920s. I'm not that old. Diallo might get game time at both Burnley and Granada because they are sitting back team, says Rudra. Look, I'd love to see them play. What I would say as well is, though, we are missing 3 first-teamers. Well, 2. Maguire and Shaw, and McTominay is a first-teamer, whether you think it's right or not, so 3. He's not going to go super weak without... He's not going to make too many changes. I think the way Ollie will look at this, Mr. Pragmatic, he will go, we're 2-0 up, but if they score, it gets nervy. I haven't got Maguire, I haven't got Shaw, and I haven't got McTominay. That's 3 changes I've got to make. That's enough. And I think that's what Ollie will do. You could say, let's not play Rashford because he needs a rest, but he played him last week, so we'll play him this week. You could say, let's give Bruno a rest, but he's going to be the captain, he's going to be the leader, surely. You could say rest Pogba because he's on a yellow card, but Pogba's very important. So I think that the 3 changes that he's going to make will be enough for Ollie. That'll be like, well, I've already got to play Bailly, Tellez and not McTominay, so I think that will be enough. Bailly is back in Manchester, Kira, and he is available for the game on Thursday apparently, so I don't think Bailly actually had any symptoms of COVID. Now, but I'm only going off what's been told here. I think it was Jonathan Schrager on Twitter saying that he's back in Manchester and available for the game on Thursday. So, United for Life says we could play Axel at right back, but I don't. You know what? We are only 2-0 up. We can't treat this like a reserve game. I think you've got to put respect on the game. They will come and have a go, and if they score first, it becomes nervy. And look, we lost to Sheffield United 2 months ago. We can't be that arrogant that, we can make 5 or 6 changes and we'll still win. We've got to treat the tie with respect. So I don't think Solskjaer... I think Solskjaer will value this game more than Burnley at the weekend. And I'm not saying Burnley's not going to be a tough game, but we've given ourselves some real breathing space in the league. We're 7 points ahead of third place. So if you're asking Ollie which game he'd rather not win, it would probably be Burnley. Big games from the start. Get Bruno and Rashi off at half-time when job done. Donny Diallo, valuable 45 minutes. I agree with you, Sean. That's exactly what I would agree with. Get the game won. Make the changes, definitely. Akshat says you could rest Cavani. You could rest Cavani and put Greenwood up front and put Dan James on the wing, but I don't know whether he'll get that. And Daryl Murray says, will we get to the final? We play the winner of Villarreal and Roma. No. We play the winner of Roma and Ajax, so keep your eye on that. I think there's a couple of weeks off before the next round. But look, we've got to win on Thursday. Let's not get too excited about it. My prediction is going to be a 2-0 win to Manchester United. So that's how I think we'll line up. Obviously, 3 players out suspended. Pogba's on a yellow card. But I think that team will be good enough for 45 minutes to get us the job and then maybe get some people on. Roma are 2-1 up from the first leg and they got 2 away goals. So they're looking good. So it probably will be Roma, says Ilas, and he's right. Right, let's move on to some news anyway, just actually to do with the game, but also news. ESPN are reporting that Bailly will not be signing a new contract at Manchester United this summer as he seeks first-team football elsewhere. As I understand it, he's got 1 year left on his contract, so the same as Paul Pogba and the same as Jesse Lingard. So United will have to do something. They don't want a player running their contract down. To be honest with you, I've got total sympathy with Eric Bailly here, and I have a certain sympathy. Well, I don't have a sympathy with Manchester United because the rumour is that Manchester United want him to sign a new contract. I wouldn't give Bailly a new contract. Ruthless, wrong, whatever you want to call it. I would not give Eric Bailly a new contract because he cannot be trusted. His injury record is abysmal. Somebody said to me the other week that it's not actually that much worse than Phil Jones. His injury record is appalling. Now, if he was a winger or he was a centre forward, I might say, look, let's see what it's going to be like for the next year because he's still in his mid-20s. But as a centre-back is probably, with midfield, the most important position for fitness because you need your centre-backs. You need your centre-backs to play 90% of the season. And Eric Bailly doesn't play enough games. And the frustrating thing with Eric Bailly is I believe Eric Bailly is better than Maguire. I think he's better than Lindelof, but he's never anywhere near as fit as they are. So you cannot build a future around Eric Bailly. And as a third choice, he doesn't want to be a third choice. He wants to be first choice. So I personally think, in a grown-up way, parting of the ways is exactly the right thing to do. He wants first team football, which I don't blame him, because when he's fit, he's a very good centre-back. And we need a first team centre-back that's going to play every game. I think United want to keep him third choice. He doesn't want to be third choice. So part the ways. Go your separate ways. If Eric Bailly could guarantee me he's going to be fit for 90% of our games for the next 3 years, the ink wouldn't even dry before I've faxed it off to United headquarters. Get the contract done. But the fitness record is an issue. I hate to be boring, but the point is, I said it about Cavani when we bought him, you've got to look at people's injury records. There's no point having Lionel Messi if he can only play half your games. You want players that can play most of your games, and Eric Bailly doesn't provide that. So I think there will be a parting of the ways with Bailly, which makes it interesting in relation to what you would do then with people like Axel Tuanzebe. I too would love to see Ahmed play Mark, however disagree that he has played Champions League and Serie A. He's played about 10 minutes in one game in each. No, he's not, Ben. He's played a lot more than that. Who cut your hair, says Butterbean. Well, it's better than yours. You haven't even got any. And Bailly hasn't started 20 games for us yet, says Man United 07. Inter will probably want Lingard and Bailly, says McNally. And I'd still have Messi for half the games, says Fire Up. Well, that's why we would never win the league then, is it? Because you're acting like Spurs. This is what Spurs did after the 90 World Cup. They bought Klinsmann and people like that. They never won the league. You know, you can be an entertaining team for half the season or you can win titles. I would rather take... well, here's a good example for you then. Would I rather have Messi for half of the season or would I rather have Aubameyang for the full season? and I'd rather have Aubameyang for full season, because there is a massive difference between Aubameyang and Messi, but Aubameyang for a full season is going to be more valuable to me than Messi for half a season. Doesn't matter how many goals Messi scores in that half season, he can only get me so many points because he's only playing half the games. I want a team that plays. I want players that play. Injury records to me, especially in the modern game, very important. Fun fact, and he's still yet to play a Premier League minute. Ahmed, says Ewan Black. I didn't know that. Respect your opinion, but I think Glazers are good, says Brian Mack. Yeah, must be lonely down there. But there you go. Keep shouting. Messi did. Look, I'm not literally. Look, it's an example. I would love Lionel Messi. He's the best player in the world. But what I'm saying is, would you rather have Messi at your club for 18 Premier League games, or would you rather have a worse player but still a really good player for 38? Messi could make you win 10-0 in half your games, but you could still play. You'd still finish mid-table if you're shit in all your other games. So that's what I'm talking about. I mean, you know what? I have to forget the IQ of some people that are on YouTube because they don't listen. I'd take Messi over Aubameyang. That's not the question. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about, would you rather have a world-class player for half the season or a top-class player for full season? You can't win a league with half a season. You need people who are fit for most of the season. That's what I'm talking about. This is why I wouldn't keep Eric Bailly, because I think he's our best centre-back, but he's never bloody fit. Playing Rashford is crazy. He needs a rest, says Neil. Well, I think he will play. Anyway, moving on from Bailly, let's see what happens with him. I just want to talk about Jose on Oli in a minute, but let me just talk about Jadon Sancho because it does mention it in the title. So Jadon Sancho is not playing for the Dortmund game against Man City tomorrow night. He's still injured. However, I mentioned this morning that Manchester United have apparently called their interest in a right winger. They want to go for a striker and a centre back, but Jadon Sancho is still an option for United in the summer. I've got no information on this. In fact, the last time I spoke to my guy, which was a few weeks ago, he said that Sancho uncertain. Obviously, United were obsessed with him for a couple of years up until last summer, and then they messed the deal up, and nobody knows whether they'll go back in again. But it could be like Romano said, it could be ignited, and that's what he said to me. He said, "Look, you know what? Nobody knows what's going on at the moment." But we'll have to wait and see. I haven't spoken to them for a while, for about 3 or 4 weeks. So it's open with Sancho, I suppose. I think, and I was speaking to Draughty about this today. Actually, it was like, if United act quickly on Sancho, it will help Dortmund around Haaland, and they could screw Raiola over. And what we were saying is that if Dortmund are willing to lower the price, and remember, Dortmund were training with United last week on one of our properties. If we speak to Dortmund and we say, look, we will give you 75 million for Sancho right here, right now, but we want to do it quick, not all summer. You've got 75 million in your skyrocket pocket, and you can say to Raiola, up yours unless you get 150 million. Or you can try and keep Sancho and try and sell Haaland and watch his price drive down as you need the money. So there might be something that United could do with Dortmund if they act quickly. And I certainly think United would like to get him. Mark, Ollie is toxic to certain players like Mourinho, just benches them for no reason. Ollie needs to go, says Jay Ling's fam. And De Gea for Varane is a done deal. My cousin cuts his auntie's hair. Says, for a minute there, I was actually thinking there might be something to be able to be done there. And look, that wanders me off into something else. But let me just say that if we could look, and I don't care whether it's Henderson or De Gea. If Henderson went to West Ham and they gave us Rice, or De Gea went to Real Madrid and we got Varane, tick. I'm not precious about which goalkeeper we keep. I know some people have got their preference, but we do need to move one of them out. And as long as the goalkeeper is happy to go, it's a good deal for them. And it's a good deal for us. It gets my approval. So I think that that's what we need to see in relation to that, isn't it? Just some clever transfer business and quick transfer business is very important. As I said, with Sancho, we might be able to sell. Dortmund are in trouble. Dortmund are not in the Champions League at the moment, and they are struggling financially. They will need to make a sale in the summer. There's no doubt about that. And their two biggest assets are Sancho and Haaland. Now, as we know with Mino Raiola, he's on his whirlwind tour trying to drum up business for Haaland. But Sancho is not Raiola's client. If we give him the money, get that deal done quickly, and Raiola's fucked. To be honest with you, Dortmund are in big trouble in their quest for Champions League football. They're 7 points behind Eintracht Frankfurt, and there are only 6 games to go. So 7 points is quite extensive for Dortmund to try and get into the top 4. So I mean, this is, if United are going to buy a Dortmund player, this is really encouraging for us. And Dortmund have still got Leipzig to play. They've still got Wolfsburg and Werder Bremen to play. So it's not going to be easy for them by any means to get into that top 4 position. And I'm pretty sure that let me just go there. What have I done here? Click on Dortmund. Yeah, Dortmund have got Wolfsburg and Leipzig to play, and they're both above them. So, very, very difficult. Sorry if you've already talked about the Swedish report said United were in for Kulusevski, but that Juventus did not want to release him. Yeah, it was floating around last week, Daniel, but yeah, Juventus basically said there was nothing in it. So, yeah, nothing happened with that there. So, yeah, I mean, look, there's a deal for United to do with Dortmund, but there's a deal for everybody else to do with Dortmund. I think United should try and move quickly. And I look, I suppose this is the question I would ask you. Let's have a look at the live comments if you're watching live. Please smash a like on the video, by the way. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes. Let's say, who would you rather have? Would you rather have Sancho or Haaland at Manchester United? I would rather have Jadon Sancho, because if you can afford Haaland, I would take him, and I would then use the money that you've got left that you would have used on Haaland to buy a midfielder. So for me, Sancho is the player that I would take over Haaland, because you could use the rest of the money on something else. I mean, and that's the scary thing here. That is the scary thing. We're going to spend £150 million on Erling Haaland plus wages, when you could get Jadon Sancho for half that price and then get a really good centre-back or a midfielder. So for me, it would be Sancho. And I think the thing about Sancho is, and Romano said this, didn't he? There's so much work been done on that deal already. If Dortmund lower the price, it'll get done very, very quickly. You could do that deal right before the season, the Euros. That deal could be done. So let's see what happens with that. Varane is still being mentioned around Manchester United. There's another story in one of the English papers today, Daily Mail. So take it or leave it. Some people call it the Daily Fail. They're talking about Varane. I'm not going to say, oh, it's a great source or anything like that. I think there's a collection of feeling that Varane is a target for Manchester United. It's interesting with Real Madrid. If the only way they'll let Varane go is if Varane wants to go, because he's got 1 year left on his contract. I just wonder, you know what? I'm not expecting United to do a good transfer window, because that's what I expect United to do, a bad transfer window. But there is opportunities. There's so much contradiction as well. There's United are operating with a restricted budget. There's United have got £100 million. I don't think £100 million is a restricted budget. £100 million is £100 million to spend. But you've also got the money that you can use with your assets. Pogba and Varane, 1 year left on their contract. Surely there's something that can be done there if Pogba wants to go to Madrid and Varane wants to leave Madrid. So there are options there. And I do agree that Varane and Maguire is probably the best partnership you could ever hope to build. It's experienced. And I think Maguire would benefit from having somebody better than him next to him. And I think Varane is better than Maguire. I'm sorry. I think Maguire would become a better player with a better player next to him. And I think that the problem we've had this season is Maguire has had to play with Lindelof. They're very similar, but Maguire's also the senior centre-back. And I think if Maguire played with Varane, I mean, look, it's different personalities, but I think I can read Maguire's personality as a footballer quite well. He wants to lead, and he wants to be in charge. But I also think if he was next to... So, you know, it's like Vidic and Rio. Who was in charge? Probably Vidic, but they respected each other. Baresi, Costa Curta, you know, the partnerships. A centre-back partnership is a partnership. And I think if Maguire had Varane next to him, that could be a great partnership. because I think Maguire would look up to Varane, and Varane would probably respect Maguire, and people are going to laugh at that last statement. But I think that would be the dream partnership. I think they're the right age as well. They're very similar age. You'd expect them to play together for the next 3 or 4 years, and that could be a really strong partnership. Now, if you get him Koundé or you get him Torres, does Koundé or Torres take Lindelof out the team straight away? Well, people say, yeah, they should do. But as we've seen, Bailly can't get Lindelof out of Maguire's mind, and Ollie's mind. So could Torres do that? But Varane does. Varane's like, sit down, Victor. I'm in charge here. So I think it would work quite well. Thoughts on Saul Niguez? Should we go for Delaney, Sachin? I don't think Saul Niguez is a possibility for Manchester United. For me, Sai says Varane, Sancho, Bissouma. That'll do me. Where do I? I'm on the beach. I'm down in Cornwall because I'm only going to holiday in UK, but I'm on the beach with that. You give me that summer, I'm sunbathing. Varane, Bissouma, Sancho. Come on. Mine's a pint. I'd love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, let's see what we can do around that. It doesn't solve all our problems, but I could live without the striker. And people say, well, what if Cavani leaves? What if Cavani leaves? Still got Greenwood, still got Martial, got people like McNeil and Hugel. They're a year older as well. So there are options out there. Mark, me and my girlfriend are really confused. Is the desk real? The desk's not real, no. Carl, no. Hans Flick is leaving Bayern. You don't want to announce that just before the game. That can't be true. Anyway, I did want to ask as well, Ollie, Mourinho, are we in a better position? 3 years ago, this is just a general topic for you to discuss. 3 years ago, we were second in the league. We got 81 points. We're currently, with Ollie, I think we're on 63 points, and we're second in the league. To get 81 points, we need, quick maths, 18 points from our last 7 games. So we need to win 6 out of our last 7 just to equal what Mourinho got. Are we in a better position? Are we in a better position now than we were 3 years ago? What are your thoughts? And I suppose, I don't really want to ask this because I think only a plonker would say Jose. But would you rather would you rather Jose or would you rather Ollie? Now, for me, every day of the week it's Ollie. I think that United under Ollie are more stable. They feel more like United, and the team and the players are definitely happier. So I think we're in a better position in that sense. And just surveying what Ollie did. Ole, I'm Norwegian now. I'd have given him a statue for some of the players he removed from the club. So I think that we are in a better position. Do I think we're a better team than we were 3 years ago? Probably not. Because that team got more points. And I think they did it in a harder league. And I think this season is a bit crap. But I would still rather have Ollie over Jose because I have seen Ollie play better football than Jose ever did. I think that second half against Spurs, you never really saw that under Mourinho. I think the Everton Carabao Cup game, you never saw that under Mourinho. The PSG and Leipzig games, we never really saw that under Mourinho. So I think that Ollie is the right man. But I think there is a debate about, are we in a better position? And that's why next season for me under Solskjaer is so important. Because that's where the proof is going to be in the pudding. That's where we're going to find out what this is all about. I think the fact that we're still, almost need a t-shirt. The scales of Ollie, because it is very balanced on the inners and the outers at the moment. And I think next season we're going to find out which way that tips. But I definitely feel that the situation we're in at the moment with Solskjaer, although it runs parallels with 3 years ago, behind the scenes, so many things are better. The players are far happier under Ollie than they were under Mourinho. This is Manchester United more than it was when it was Mourinho United. And it feels like, I think with Mourinho, when he got a second place, it was almost like the quest was over. He didn't get backed in the summer and he was sacked by Christmas. With Ollie, it could be the end. He could be gone by Christmas. But you almost feel there's more chance of us going on a level than with Mourinho, where it felt like that was the pinnacle. The year before, he'd won a Europa League and the Carabao Cup. The next year, it was second place. And it felt like over the 3 years, as is the story with Mourinho, that was going to be the end. Whereas with Ollie, at the end of his 3 years, which will be the end of this season, I do believe there's something more there. This isn't a joke, but I've got a good feeling about the summer transfer window, says Ben Anderson. Surely now those clowns have made enough mistakes to now get it right. I hope you're right, Ben. I really, really do. I feel better and positive with Ollie, says Dia. And look, I'm not taking away from the fact that we've played well for less than 10 games this season and we're on game 50. Even if you want to be generous and say we've played well for 10 games, that's not even 25% of the season that we've played well. And what I mean is good football. So that's got to go huge. Next year, you've got to be playing well for well over 50% of the season. I mean, if you look at Manchester City, how many games do they play well? I mean, they don't play well every game, but well over 70% they play well and they play a defined way of playing. So that's definitely something Solskjaer's got to improve on. But I want to say this. I'm going to give you this. This is a piece of what I believe, and it might be a piece of shit to you, but this is what I believe is a piece of hope and a piece of intelligence, which some people think doesn't come out of my mouth when it comes to Manchester United. He might have been injured a lot, and I might not have wanted him because of that injury record, but nobody can dispute the quality of Edinson Cavani. You bring quality players into a team and quality things will happen that improve you. And Cavani at the weekend, the goals, the way he played was pure quality. The Southampton game, pure quality. You bring quality players into this team and this team will play better and improve. It's very, very simple. And I think we as a fan base do not appreciate that enough. We brought Bruno Fernandes in. You take Bruno Fernandes out of that team over the last year, we're down with Arsenal. You bring Cavani in, all right, he's not played enough, but when he has and he's been fit, quality. Quality players will improve our hopes next season and improve our team. Do not go out there and buy fourth and fifth choices. It's not worth it. The extra 10, 15 million to get the quality player over the mediocre player is worth it. The evidence is there. Bruno Fernandes, Edinson Cavani, top quality players who have made us better. If ever there is an advert to go and get Varane, Jadon Sancho, then that is it. Go and get the quality players that nobody can deny is quality. Like a Liverpool fan cannot sit there and say, you know what, Cavani is a quality striker, Bruno Fernandes is a quality number 10. They'll also sit there and go, Varane's a quality centre-back, Sancho's a quality winger. Go and buy quality. It's not hard. But United tend to fail at that. Ooh, we don't quite want to spend on the quality centre-back. We'll go and get Pau Torres. Oh, we don't quite want to get Jadon Sancho. We'll get Ismail Sarr. In football, not always the case, but in football, get the quality player, and it's not a surprise when you play quality football. Mourinho to Arsenal, he'll make us great again, says Zane. I think Spurs would probably let you have him. So everyone chooses Ollie, but he plays Jose football and is a smiley legend with no tactics, says Jays Lings. And Josh King for a full season or Cavani for half, says Robert McCormack. The quality difference is too big, Robert. You know what I'm going to call it? Call him Pedantic McCormack. That's what I'm going to call him. You're going to lose the name Robert and become pedantic because you never come up with you try to come up with clever arguments, but you don't. Josh King and for a full season or Cavani for half a season is not comparable to world-class Messi for half a season and top-class Aubameyang. There's got to be a quality there. And I said I would rather have Josh King than Cavani at the start of the season because I was very worried about Cavani's injury record, which in fairness, I've almost been proven right, but he's not been as injured as much as I would have thought he'd done. Any career mode today, Mark, says Lakshay? No, because I'm doing PSG versus Bayern tonight at 7:30, so that will be on then. Look, thanks everyone for watching. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe. Really good conversation topics there as well. Thanks everyone who's watching live, and if you didn't watch it live, then thanks for watching anyway. But some really good conversation topics in there. But I will leave you with that. If United buy quality players, the excuse for Solskjaer isn't there. If you buy him not quality players, and this happened to Van Gaal and it happened to Mourinho, those managers can always say, well, look, I got the sack, but I didn't get what I want. I just want a manager to get quality players at United. We are one of the biggest clubs in the world. We shouldn't be shopping at bloody Primark. We should be shopping at bloody Selfridges. That's where we should be shopping. So I just want United to give Ollie quality players, and I think United will improve. And if they don't improve, it exposes the coaching. Thanks for watching. Speak to you in a bit.